Clownbaby and I watched a brand new documentary by Small Town Monsters called Invasion on Chestnut Ridge. Correct?
The one we had Seth on. Yes, correct. The one we had Seth on about, I don't know, probably a month ago or so.
Yeah, it was a few weeks. And it is a documentary about Kecksburg, primarily Kecksburg, Pennsylvania. And it kind of...
It's weird. It starts off with the Kecksburg crash bell incident, but then it goes on into many more things that go beyond the scope of just that one incident.
Absolutely correct. It's kind of tough to frame it because it does start like that. And to me, all the subsequent events kind of revolve around that UFO crash.
Right.
So to me,
it's a string of events in different places, I guess. All along. Well, they explain it in the beginning.
To me, the Kecksburg crash, I think in 1965 or 1963. That was a catalyst for all the subsequent events and sightings and bizarre encounters that people had in near Kecksburg. It happened all along the Kecksburg Ridge and the Chestnut Ridge, where people encountered UFOs, bizarre lights, Sasquatch, Dogman, and even Thunderbirds. There's a lot of things going on, and I'll play this little intro from the movie that you can purchase, I think, in the next week or two. The premiere of the movie is next weekend, I believe, the 27th and 28th of October, 2017. And this is the intro to the movie. Here we go.
The Chestnut Ridge, located in southwestern Pennsylvania, lies on the western edge of the Appalachian Mountain Range. The ridge rises in southern Indiana County and rolls to the southwest by way of towns like Blairsville, Derry, Latrobe, Connellsville, Mount Pleasant, and Uniontown, all the way into West Virginia, where it gradually comes to rest near Morgantown. Villages along the ridge were founded as far back as 1770. The rich limestone clay soil rewarded the efforts of early farmers, and soon the communities could support iron furnaces, whiskey distilleries, and general stores.
I will say, as I watched this documentary in a dark room, like on a Friday night, I was taken back with how well it was crafted. Yet again, Small Town Monsters does a really good job at putting together a movie. They've improved upon the sound quality. They've definitely learned from some of the past movies. And overall, it's a really cohesive story about this little piece of area in the country, in the world, that has this incredibly weird phenomenon going on. And this documentary overall only provokes more questions than it answers. And it doesn't try to answer anything. It only presents the information that is given through witness encounters and some government documents and researchers, and doesn't really struggle to reach for what it possibly could be.
What it could possibly be, the phenomenon?
No, I'm just talking about a review of the movie, like what you thought of the movie.
All around really well done. They actually had they had computer animation in there. I mean, this is a legitimate documentary, legitimate movie. I liked it better than the Missing 401 movie. That's for sure. It's probably about on par with Mothman. I might actually like the Mothman a little better just because I like the Mothman story maybe more. But this is also interesting because we're going to be going there. Our MUFON conference is right along the Chestnut Ridge in Greensburg, very close by. So this isn't this is a very local occurrence for me. So,
well, the Mothman is, I guess, in name is about a singular entity, but dragged along a lot of other things along with it, with the Kecksburg UFO incident, and then the invasion on Chestnut Ridge, which is what this is named. I'm not sure if they should have named it that because not many people know that. So when it comes to marketing, I don't know. That might be a little dicey for them. But there's a lot more things going on here, at least just in a quick glance, than what was going on with Mothman. And the Mothman sightings,
true.
It looks like it was almost like a hardcore at most 3-year period, and this kind of dragged out for almost 10 years. You have
about a decade.
About a decade. You have Stan Gordon, a very prominent UFO and cryptozoologist researcher, being involved from the get-go on this, and is still researching and still heavily involved in the community up there in Pennsylvania and Kecksburg, and documenting things and hoping to get to the bottom of some stuff. So in this next clip, it actually goes into the history of the actual crash in Kecksburg. Here we go.
Sure.
I'll remember it all my life. You know, it's something I'll never forget. That night we was actually out playing football, and we didn't actually know about it until we walked back in the house, and Mom and Dad said that there was a thing on the radio that something crashed in Acme. My mom looked out the window and she seen all the vehicles and stuff on the road. She says, well, this is right behind the house. That ain't in Acme.
I remember that evening just like it was yesterday. It was Thursday evening, December 9th, 1965. I was listening to a radio station in Pittsburgh. There was a breaking news story coming on the radio about this brilliant fireball. This fire object was seen from the tip of Ontario, Canada, over Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania.
That night, a radiant fireball was seen streaking through the skies over Detroit and Windsor, Ontario, moving in a southeasterly direction, allegedly dropping hot metal debris over Michigan and northern Ohio before hitting the ground near Kecksburg. All sorts of explanations were proposed. Some thought they were witnessing an airplane accident. Others thought a missile test had gone awry, or that a satellite was re-entering the atmosphere. The most common assumption was that a meteor was the brilliant light in question. None of those, however, seemed to square with what was happening near the Chestnut Ridge.
Now, there are a lot of different theories about what happened there. And actually, when Seth was on the show, Seth from Small Town Monsters, I actually played him the clip I had from Unsolved Mysteries about this very crash. And I can play a little bit of that just to kind of give an overall kind of feeling, because this Unsolved Mysteries episode happened in the 80s, and there are still questions about this. And I do have so if it was just a meteor that crashed, no big fucking deal. Why would the military come in as they did, in that I'll play in this next clip after the Unsolved Mysteries? There's a lot of things that don't add up. It wasn't just a meteor. That's the standard bullshit response. Oh, it's a weather balloon. Oh, it's a meteor. Oh, it's swamp gas.
Oh yeah, bullshit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Completely natural, nothing to see here. Ignore it.
Yeah.
You fucked it up, goddamn you.
Yeah, I'll play a little bit of this Unsolved Mysteries clip that we played for Seth, just to give a little bit of context. This is, maybe people are new to this, but this is considered the Roswell crash of the East Coast. This is big.
Tonight on the season premiere of Unsolved Mysteries. 25 years ago, something odd fell from the sky and crashed in the remote woods near Kecksburg, Pennsylvania. The official Air Force report states that nothing was found, but eyewitnesses claim a strange cone-shaped object was secretly removed. Was it their imagination or a government cover-up?
Government cover-up at this point, yeah. I just wanted to play that little clip there that I'll actually try to post a link to that Unsolved Mysteries clip in this description, because it's worth actually going back and looking at it. It's actually done, well done, and documented there. So after the crash, what the hell happened? I have this clip right here about what may have happened, or what did happen according to eyewitnesses after the crash of that cone-shaped, bell-shaped, acorn-shaped craft.
There was people in black suits that came in. And those there people there, they was actually, seemed like they was in charge of everybody. We see some people coming down in a white suit carrying a big box. One had a NASA patch on his arm, and they took this box down into where that was at. I seen him go down in with the box. Never seen it come back out, but I seen the truck go down in, and I seen it come back out, with something on it.
There was a lot of talk around this community that people had seen a large military flatbed tractor trailer truck carrying a large tarped object out of the area late that night, but that never was in the news.
Next day, Me and my brother went down in the woods. We seen where they'd covered up a hole, a different kind of dirt, and seen how the trees was broke off, and walked over to the other side of the hill when it was all burned off. There was some guy over there with a Geiger counter. At the time, we thought it was a treasure finder. We was kids, we didn't know any better. He asked us what we was doing down there. Told him, we live here. We're down here all the time. He says, well, there's a chance of radiation being down in here. What the heck's radiation? We didn't know. So we sort of ignored him and went along our way.
So early the next morning, I went to the local newsstand to see if there was any of the stories about what was seen last night in the local papers, and there it was in all the local papers. The Pittsburgh Press, the Post-Gazette, the Greensburg Tribune Review had 2 editions, and the early morning edition had Army ropes off area, unidentified flying object falls near Kecksburg. The later edition of the paper had several different stories, including one that caught my attention, which said searchers failed to find object. And it went on to say that, yes, there was a search at early morning hours, but they found absolutely nothing, and that the official explanation was that it was people's imagination. They had seen a bright meteor in the sky, but nothing had fallen to the ground. And that's officially where the case remains today.
It was your imaginations.
Yeah, it was swamp gas and...
mass hysteria, one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, bullshit.
This is what I do like about Seth's documentaries and Small Town Monsters work. They do a good job of getting these eyewitness encounters, and they blend it together very well for the viewer to digest in a visual way. But what I don't like, I guess is a personal criticism. I like a little bit more theory and conjecture. That's what you do get in like a documentary like Unacknowledged, featuring Dr. Stephen Greer. I know he's very divisive. People call him disinfo or a pawn. And I kind of wish that Seth would delve into the theories of what possibly could have landed down there, as opposed to just leaving it open-ended to eyewitnesses. I get what he's doing. David Pilates does the same thing with Missing 411, that he doesn't want to get into theories about what possibly could be abducting people. But he's got a thought about it. David Pilates got a thought about it. Seth has got a theory about this. They're just not telling anybody. Right.
I guess he probably just wants to more do the reporting aspect and the historical aspect rather than go the full on speculation route.
Fuck you.
Okay. I guess, and I've been kind of considering.
It kind of drives you nuts, though, whenever you have someone to research it so much and they just, kind of leave it open-ended.
It does drive you nuts. Well, it drives me nuts a little bit. And I think that's where we can kind of, pick up where some of these documentaries leave off. Is like, I have no problem going into speculation and conjecture. In fact, that's primarily all this show's about, is making up bullshit. And I'm perfectly okay with that. That's, I think, what we do best. And I think that I do have a theory about what crashed there and what happened afterwards and why. And I'll play a few more of these clips to set it up. And then I'll get into my theory. Now, okay. I do have a longer clip here. I don't think I'm going to play it. It's 5 minutes.
Which one is it?
This is eyewitness testimony of a person shooting at some Bigfoot.
Oh, yeah. The ones that came out of the alien craft, or the UFO. That was good, but that is quite long.
It's long. I can play it.
I guess we got to leave for some people to actually want to watch the movie too.
Yeah. In fact, that you're right. That it's like a 5-6 minute clip of an eyewitness testimony of this guy being interviewed, of him seeing one creature and maybe a second one following, not close behind, but close enough behind, along a fence line. And he shoots a tracer round over their head, sees that they're not human, and that they actually acknowledge that he shot something at them, fires another one, sees the second beast, and then decides to actually shoot an additional round or two into them. And it's very compelling. He says it pretty straightforwardly. And there's there's something about his voice that really conveys that he believes he did shoot something that was not human, but was standing upright. It wasn't a bear. I've never seen two bears walk upright along a fence line in Pennsylvania.
For an extended period of time.
Yeah, and with this glowing red.
Well, didn't they also exit it like an alien craft?
I
That was lighting up the entire area, if I remember correctly.
The alien craft, in the light that it did, there was like this red glow around the area that preceded the sighting of these creatures, and also was there after these creatures were there. There was a UFO sightings of Bigfoot. This guy tried to shoot him, and then the light persisted, and then people showed up to investigate the light. One person actually went crazy and started crying, had an emotional breakdown, and couldn't deal with it. The film is well worth your money, no doubt. And I definitely recommend watching it with somebody who is skeptical of this kind of stuff. And because I think there's enough information here to warrant, all these people cannot be crazy, because they seem like down-to-earth people. They seem like this regular people who don't want to be dragged into the paranormal, but sure enough, here they are. They have eyewitness encounters, and they seem to me to be credible. And I will play this one. This one is of an ex-military guy who had a run-in with some kind of winged creature. And this is his account right here.
Yeah, I grew up in Lower Burl. I joined the Army, and then 2005 I retired. Moved out here to Derry. I just got done cutting my back field. My family was down at Keystone State Park there. I went down to get them, to bring them up to show them what the field looked like. I came back up to the field. I'm looking out there at the end of the field, and it looked like there was a tree stump. So we drove out there to the tree stump. I go, that isn't a tree stump, it's a deer. It looked like a big deer, about this tall, maybe 5.5 feet tall, sitting up on its butt. And it was like this. And I'm getting closer, I'm thinking, that doesn't look like a deer anymore. And it picked up its head, and it was staring at me like this, like it was mad. So I stopped 50 yards maybe from it. I'm looking at it. That's a bird. It got up, and it took one swipe, and it started coming towards me. I'm like, oh, Judas Priest. Came over top of our bus, and my yard is shaped like a roller coaster. And when it hit that, it came up like that into the air. It was big-chested, just claws like this. If it wanted to, and it swooped down, I'm not saying it's going to pick you up. It'll pick you into pieces and take those pieces away.
Strange events like this go on all across Pennsylvania. And there's certain areas where sometimes you get more activity than others. But the one area, of course, that year after year we seem to get more than normal activity is areas along the Chestnut Ridge.
There you go. Very strange cryptoid encounter. And that's just one of many that can and has appeared around that area. And just one that's appeared in the film. Very bizarre. I think a very credible person, the way he tells the story. Yeah. I don't know. You can probably tell if something's an eagle or a bird. You know, I'm not like a bird watcher. Hey, Clownbaby, I don't watch birds. Okay?
No, you don't?
No. But I could tell the difference between a flying humanoid creature and like an eagle.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I saw a man bat. It's like, oh, you sure you didn't see a hawk? Well, this hawk was like 8 feet tall and looked like a bat person.
Fuck you, motherfucker.
Yeah, I could tell the difference. And I would assume that this ex-military guy could also tell the difference as well. And as always, this is the final clip. And like most events that happen, be it Roswell or Mothman or Kecksburg in this instance, something always happens, and that is we need to throw a festival.
Correct. I don't know if they have one there.
Oh, here we go.
Today, the village of Kecksburg has embraced its enigmatic past, hosting a UFO festival each summer that has attracted thousands of visitors. Families bring children to play in the shadow of the UFO replica, once used in the filming of a TV program about the crash. Locals are somewhat used to camera crews in town, as media interest in the incident never wanes for long. The people of this community have done their best to turn the events of 1965 into a positive.
Once again, I started this back when I was 10 years old in 1959, so this year's going to be 58 years of research. Why do this? Well, I guess it's just the fact that I'm continuing to be curious. I'm still learning more and more about the phenomena out there. I've learned that this is a very strange world, and there's a lot of ongoing things out there that we have yet to understand. And I guess I'm always hopeful that that next phone call might come in on my hotline, or the next email I get might be the case that once and for all gives us the evidence that will prove that at least one of these phenomena really do exist.
The shampoo.
All right, I'm kind of torn between these festivals that crop up around, the Roswell crash or Mothman. In one way, it trivializes what possibly could have happened, and these witnesses.
It just becomes Canal Days after that.
It becomes like any other small town festival that happens every fucking year, and it's just another way for people to peddle their crafts and their stupid pottery that they piss on and they shit on and they just give it to you. Hey, look, I made an ashtray for you. Oh, hey, I made another little. I took a pottery class, and now I'm going to sell you all the shit that I don't want.
Yeah.
That part of me thinks the cynic in me believes that's what it is. Like, oh, I got some great jewelry. Here we go. I'm going to exploit these stupid fucks that come here that believe in UFOs. But the other part of me also thinks, well, even if it is kind of bastardizing the event and capitalizing it in a way by selling stupid crafts and ornaments, at least it's bringing awareness possibly to the event where people may not have otherwise known about it. It's a bit of a yin and yang there. I get it. And we do a similar thing. We joke about UFOs and Bigfoot cock and that kind of stuff. And we talk about it in such a way where we make light of it, but sometimes other people may not have heard of such events, so it might bring them into the subject. I get it. But just because I buy a pair of earrings that are shaped like Bigfoot cocks doesn't mean I'm going to look into the Kecksburg incident. So I don't know. I'm torn. What do you think about the commercialization of these events?
I don't. Part of me wants to go to them, and part of me just wish they didn't have them. They just had a museum there about the incident rather than have a giant fucking I saw pictures from the Mothman Festival. There were like people in Star Wars costumes and other bullshit, and sometimes it can be really, really ridiculous. Well, I know that the Mothman one's ridiculous. Like, oh, take these Mothman tours. You can go to the old, armory where they first spotted it. It's like, oh God, I couldn't do that.
Why don't they just set up like a peep show? And I'll go to like a Mothman peep show or a Kecksburg peep show. You go in there, almost like just make it like a strip club, and everyone wins. Have it come out like a girl with an alien costume, and then she takes it all off, and then I put a dollar bill in her flirgnurgle, and
exactly,
and everyone wins.
He touches her Nerfles,
and then her Nerfle gets turned on, and all of a sudden she's spraying Nergnoggle and
all over the place.
Piss.
And it's just I can't go home smelling like Nergnoggle. People are going to know what's going on.
Bleep bloop, believe you.
Yeah, it's the same thing, guys. I appreciate
exact same thing.
It's the same thing.
Yes.
There it is. I highly recommend this new film by Small Town Monsters, Invasion on Chestnut. Is it Invasion on or Invasion in? I think it's Invasion on.
Invasion on Chestnut Ridge.
Invasion on.
That right.
Yeah. Invasion on Chestnut Ridge. I'll put a link in the description.
Good. I believe you can go to smalltownmonsters.com. I know it's there for a fact, and I believe it might be on Vimeo. I would have to check that out, but
it's good. It's well done. It's well worth your money and support stuff. And by the way, he's not paying us at all.
No, he's not. In fact, I bought his shirt.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're getting no kickbacks at all from this guy. We just like the work that he does.
Yeah. And he comes on the show, too.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Good. Well, that's probably why.
Yeah.
David Paulides would come on the show. Maybe we'd talk. Well, we already give him free advertising, damn it.
And we talk about Dave Paulides enough.
Actually, way too much.
Yeah.
Why are you all laughing?
Allegedly, what crashed at Kecksburg was a secret Nazi wonder weapon, or Wunderwaffe, called Die Glocke, which means the bell. It's supposedly some kind of anti-gravity device that the Germans were trying to use in the later, or develop in the later stages of the war, to be kind of a game changer, or some kind of new, device that would help them win the war.
Yeah, and I do have a clip here that will explain this. And I do have a theory about what happened in Kecksburg. Here we go.
Die Glocke was believed to be a top-secret Nazi wonder weapon. It was said to be the creation of Germany's brightest scientific minds, the same people who brought us the V1 and V2 rockets. Allegedly an experiment carried out by scientists working for the SS in a German facility known as the Giant, near the Czech border. Die Glocke is described as being a device made out of hard, heavy metal approximately 2.7 meters wide and 4.6 meters high, having a shape similar to that of a large bell. According to researchers, this device contained two counter-rotating cylinders, which would be filled with a mercury-like substance, violet in color. This metallic liquid was codenamed 525 and was stored in a tall, thin thermos flask, a meter high encased in lead. Researchers described the Glocke, when activated, as having an effect zone extending out 100 to 200 meters. Within the zone, crystals would form in animal tissue, blood would gel and separate, while plants would decompose into a grease-like substance. It was said that 5 of the 7 original scientists working on the project died in the course of the tests. The ruins of a concrete framework, aesthetically dubbed the Henge, may have once served as a test rig for an experiment in anti-gravity propulsion generated with Die Glocke. However, the structure itself has also been interpreted to resemble the remains of a conventional industrial cooling tower. Most who believe that the bell exists or existed at some point are convinced that it was a machine built for a fantastic and sinister purpose. Many believe that it was either a working time machine or an anti-gravity machine. If you believe what you see on the TV and read on the internet, the Third Reich was indeed undertaking some rather sinister research and development just prior to the end of the war in 1945. Many have speculated Die Glocke ended up in a Nazi-friendly South American country, while others speculate that it was moved to the United States as part of a deal made with SS General Hans Kammler. Did Nazi scientists develop and build a time machine, or a superweapon, or perhaps their own interpretation of a UFO? And reports that several top SS officers and scientists disappeared without a trace just adds to this mystery.
So, my theory on the Kecksburg UFO and a lot of other people's theory is that what crash landed in Kecksburg, Pennsylvania in 1965 was a version of the Nazi bell. And it was the technology that was adopted and taken from the Nazis under Project Paperclip. And what crashed down there was an experimental craft, which was based off of Nazi technology, which purportedly they got through channeling through the Vril Society and the Dracos, and some very interesting stuff going on there. Very like occult-like kind of technology to try to achieve anti-gravity. And what crashed down there was an anti-gravity device. Now, when you do this kind of stuff, I believe that it can open up new worlds. And when it crashed down, I believe that when something like this, like an anti-gravity, interdimensional kind of technology is discovered and it crashes down, that it leaves a beacon, it leaves an imprint in the land. And that imprint in that technology that ripped open time or space and dimensions also allowed other things to come through. It's almost like an SOS or homing signal, and allowing these various weird creatures to be drawn to this area. And hence the subsequent sightings of thunderbirds and Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Dogman, all throughout that ridge, right there after the crash took place. I think it served as a homing beacon, whether intentional or not. I think it was accidental. They didn't know what they were doing. They were experimenting with technology they didn't fully understand, and it ripped something open, and they don't really know how to put it back together. Hence why everyone's hush-hush about it. Clownbaby?
I mean, there's definitely theories on it. It was thought to have been taken to Argentina along with the fleeing Nazi leadership during the course of the war. Now, this could be something, hypothetically, if they perfected it, maybe this was something that was actually from 1945 and now it just re-entered into that part of the existence in space-time. Like, whatever it was for, like 20 years and crashed in 1965, and whoever was in it could be known according to the effects that it gave on living organisms, according to that video, just happened to show back up there in 1965 and crash land in that particular part of the country. Or
I see
it could be
something. Yeah.
Or something that was taken to Antarctica. Maybe it's maybe there's more than one of these. Maybe they have a whole fleet of them. That one just malfunctioned.
Well,
I'd read in the Wikipedia article, maybe they use this fabled, red mercury was used in it, which is an alleged substance that's used in nuclear fissile material. So there's a huge article on red mercury. We can talk about it one time, but nothing that I can go into now because I need to obviously read more about it.
Yeah, I mean, look, they don't know what crashed down in Kecksburg, and very little is known about the Nazi Bell. But we do know that the Nazi technology was taken by the United States and Russia, and the rocket program of the United States was not to use a pun, but propelled by Nazi scientists, and NASA owes everything to Wernher von Braun and other Nazi scientists. Something's going on here, and there are a lot of UFO sightings that occur between the 1950s and 60s, various nuclear-powered UFOs. They adopted the aerodynamics of certain UFOs, and they tried to implement certain nuclear propulsion technologies, but it didn't come quite to fruition. I think this could be one of those incidences, but I think this was like a prototype of a Nazi Bell or just another iteration of it, and who knows? I think it cracked something open, and it was a homing signal. Whether they like it or not, it cracked open some kind of interdimensional thing. Wherever these things come from, they're here, and they're in Pennsylvania. Good luck.
Yeah, they homed it. Now we're overrun with Bigfoot, and I have to wear anal bum cover out at night, or else I can be in fear for my my butthole whenever the Bigfoot are around.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. You got to be very careful out there. So you might be raped by a Nazi Bigfoot.
Nazi Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Only white-haired Bigfoot's allowed.
Yeah, only white-haired Bigfoot.
And I'm a man.
None of the ones in the Patterson film.
No. All right. I think at this point we're going to take a break. We're going to come back with some additional stuff. And what kind of should we play Mark Gormley? What should we go out to break with?
We haven't done Mark Gormley in a while. Maybe Strutting That Ass remix, something like that.
I kind of like Mark Gormley.
Sounds good.
Mark Gormley
doesn't come out of his house often.
Very rarely. He doesn't give any more interviews.
No. All right, I'll be back soon.
All right, yeah, me too.